Imagine the year 1940. France is facing a crisis unlike any it has ever seen. In just a few weeks, German forces are advancing with lightning speed, and the French army needs immediate solutions to counter heavily armored enemy tanks. It is in this moment of urgency that the Laffly 15TCC, known as the Chasseur de chars or tank hunter, comes into existence. This was not a traditional tank. Instead, it was a self-propelled anti-tank gun, quickly engineered on the chassis of the light Laffly artillery tractor, designed to be mobile, fast to produce, and effective on the battlefield. Development of the Laffly 15TCC was driven by necessity. Standard components and civilian parts were repurposed to accelerate assembly, allowing production to start immediately. However, this approach also meant that individual vehicles often had noticeable differences in appearance and configuration. Historical records estimate that approximately 60 to 70 vehicles were built, a small number, but enough to make an impact in local skirmishes. Production models typically featured an open gun shield and a partially armored cab. Heavier, more protective prototypes were tested, but they were rejected because the extra weight reduced off-road mobility and made the vehicle less practical for rapid maneuvers. The Laffly 15TCC's main weapon was a 47mm anti-tank gun model, 1937. For its time, this weapon was highly effective against medium tanks, capable of penetrating vulnerable areas of armor at combat ranges typical of 1940 engagements. Secondary armament often included a light machine gun model, 1924 to 1929, providing defense against infantry and close-range threats. The combination of firepower and mobility made the vehicle an excellent candidate for ambush tactics and hit-and-run attacks. Now, let's examine the technical specifications. The vehicle was classified as a self-propelled anti-tank gun. Its crew consisted of 3 to 4 men, typically including a driver, gunner, loader, and sometimes a fourth member responsible for operating the secondary machine gun. Combat weight ranged from approximately 3.8 to 4.9 tons, usually around 4 tons. The engine was an inline 4-cylinder unit manufactured by Hotchkiss, producing between 50 and 63 horsepower. Maximum road speed reached about 48 kilometers per hour, while the operational range on a full tank was approximately 230 kilometers. Armor on production vehicles was thin, ranging from 12 to 15 millimeters at the most protected points, sufficient against small arms fire, but vulnerable to artillery and heavier weapons. The tactical concept behind the Laffly 15TCC was simple, but effective when properly deployed. It was designed for concealed ambushes, rapid strikes, and support of infantry operations. In suitable positions, these vehicles could deliver critical hits to enemy tanks and create significant disruption for mechanized enemy units. However, their limited numbers, minimal crew training, and vulnerability to artillery greatly constrained their overall strategic impact during the campaign of 1940. Several lesser-known details make the Laffly 15TCC particularly interesting. Its 6x6 wheel configuration provided exceptional off-road mobility, allowing it to traverse broken roads and countryside terrain that might have slowed down heavier vehicles. Gun mounting was often performed in field workshops, which resulted in a variety of vehicles with improvised screens and modifications, a detail that fascinates modelers and restorers to this day. Each vehicle typically carried around 30 rounds for the main gun, limiting sustained fire and requiring careful logistical planning. Today, very few complete examples of the Laffly 15TCC survive. Most of what remains are archival photographs, blueprints, and fragments of chassis preserved in museums and collections. For historians and enthusiasts, the vehicle represents not its scale of production, but its demonstration of rapid engineering adaptation. It shows how, under immense pressure, designers were able to find a compromise between firepower, mobility, and manufacturability. In conclusion, the Laffly 15TCC may not have been a war-changing vehicle, but it is a remarkable example of ingenuity and practical engineering. It embodies how production capabilities, creativity, and urgency combine to produce functional solutions during critical moments of war. Today, it continues to capture the imagination of military historians, modelers, and enthusiasts who study rare and unconventional vehicles. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about rare and unusual armored vehicles, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and click the notification bell. Your support allows me to create more detailed videos and bring history to life. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.